What's going on, growers? It's James Prigioni coming to you live from Jersey. It's November 20th today. The weather has changed and it feels like winter's right around the corner. So today, me and Tuck want to bring you along with us for the final garden tour and harvest. Let's go! You may have noticed in the intro that I'm wearing a new Food Forest shirt. So we are super excited to come out with some new merchandise. This is one of the designs right here. So this is an updated version of the old Food Forest shirt. We've got like a lot of new growth in here. I just think it's improved and I love the way it looks. If you want to check this out, and I have 3 other new shirts, check out jamesprigioni.com. And I'm also super excited about a Team Grow shirt that I finally have. It took me a long time to kind of come up with something that would make sense. So I think this shirt kind of encapsulates what we want in regards to Team Grow. And then I have 2 other shirts that are like a new design, one I love so much. I call it the Grow design, and there's 2 different versions of it. The first version, I have this Grow design that we made, and it's just in the top corner of the shirt. I think it is like clean and simple, but it's also like a little bit subtle, so I really love the way it looks. And then I have another Grow design where it's just says Grow on the front with the little JP signature, and then on the back we have the Grow design. So I think the shirts are awesome. I love them so much. Let me know what you guys think. And if you do enjoy them, again, check out jamesprigioni.com, grab a few shirts and let us know what you think. Let's start things out with this raised bed right here. And I'm calling this one my cold hardy raised bed because this thing is just packed with incredibly cold hardy plants. Like back here, this arugula, this isn't just any arugula, this is the ice bred arugula. So this one's known for growing really well in cold conditions. It's also super productive. This is probably my favorite variety of arugula. Right here also we've got some tatsoi. It grows in that amazing rosette shape. And we've got a dog kind of, checking what he's got in there. He likes to eat some of the stems of the leaves sometimes, especially some of the kales and stuff too. So the tatsoi is just, again, another cold hardy one. Beautiful shape, beautiful color. I just love how it grows in that rosette shape. So one thing you'll notice is how tight it's growing in that small shape. That's because this has remained relatively cold in here. I just put the cover on. So when it comes to your cold hardy plants, you really want to wait for that first cold, hard frost to come, or that first frost before you start putting your covers on, because you want your plants to grow in as natural conditions as they can, because then they'll have that good pattern of growth where it's cold and it keeps it tight and small. Look at Tuck in there, looking for something to snack on. It looks hilarious. He's next to this Mizuna as well, which is not only beautiful, but super cold hardy too. And the Dino kale, you gotta have the lacinato kale just for the flavor. So good. My favorite flavored kale. And then right here, the red Russian kale, because the Russian kales are going to be your most cold hardy kales. This is probably the second most cold hardy, and the most cold hardy is the white Russian. One that I added this year that I haven't really tried in the past, a new one that I think is just beautiful, is right here. This is the Yakina Savoy. So it's similar to the tatsoi, not as cold hardy, but just an amazing flavor. It kind of reminds me of sort of like a replacement for spinach. And another name for this, I think like in Japanese, they call it the snow vegetable. So again, another great cold hardy one. I want to show you something between here too. You'll notice as Tuck's trampling on it. Look at that, boyo. We've got some celery down here that's slowly growing. Let's see if he wants to try that. He usually does like some celery. No. And then we've also got some spinach down here. So I've got a small amount of spinach placed in there just so it can grow throughout the winter. Because one thing about growing things like when it starts to get cold out and through the winter is that there's a lot less light and it's cooler, so things grow way slower. So the idea, as you see here, is to grow a lot of greens, because those are the things that will grow well, that you can eat at any size, and they're just the ideal things to grow through the winter. Now, I want to bring you over to the last fruit we'll be harvesting in the season. This one right here is the Persimmon Tree, and these things are so good when they're ripe. The funny thing is, even though we had a frost, they're not even completely ripe yet. One thing I love about this kind of tree, the astringent persimmons, is it's so different than most fruits, because most fruits, when the frost comes, is when they're finished, when they're done. This one, on the other hand, when that heavy frost comes, is when it actually starts ripening. So again, these are the astringent persimmons. When it comes to persimmons, there's basically 2 different kinds. You've got non-astringent and astringent. So the non-astringent persimmons are like most of your fuyu ones. Those are the ones you can buy in the store, and you can eat them when they're hard. They almost have like a sweet cucumber kind of flavor to them. I have one of those trees, but this isn't that kind. This is the other kind, the astringent. The astringent persimmons are native to North America, where I live, as opposed to the other ones that are native to Asia. So the astringent ones are native to North America, and for them to be ripe, they have to have that hard frost, and then they'll get really soft on the inside and jelly-like. I'll give you a clip from last year because these things aren't even ready just yet. So they've got to get really soft and jelly in the center, and when they're ready, it's like it's like actual candy. It is so incredibly sweet, so good, and it allows me to extend that growing season. It's one of the reasons I love these fruits so much. But I do have a version of the non-astringent ones, a small tree that should be producing probably like next year or so. I just love this tree because most astringent persimmons are very small, but this tree right here is a hybrid between an astringent and a non-astringent persimmon. So it has the big size of your non-astringent persimmons, like your Fuyu ones, but it has that level of astringency, so it's only ready when it's super soft. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds. I think it's an incredible tree. I think everyone should have persimmon trees, both the astringent and non-astringent ones, if you can have a location where it actually gets the frost, because the amount of fruit, how easy it is to grow, how far it extends your season, it's like, again, it's one of those fruits everybody should have. Here's one of the ones that's getting close to being ripe. Let me grab this real quick, open it up for you. This is what they look like more when they're ripe. Look at this. Oh yeah. It's got that soft, juicy, delicious flavor. And when they're like this, they're not astringent. The astringency is that chalky feeling that it gives you in your mouth. Let's taste this baby. Oh yeah. So soft, so good. Incredible flavor. So soon we'll have so many persimmons we won't even know what to do with them. We'll have to make some marmalades or something, but this is definitely the biggest harvest from this tree we've ever had. Just beautiful. The new food forest, where I'm at now, was by far the MVP of the garden this year. Between that and the apples, I was just blown away, and I learned a lot of new things that I want to share with you guys. One thing is that in the future, I'm definitely going to be focusing on getting more dwarf small fruit trees. It seems like the smaller the fruit tree, the easier it is to manage, and it just makes things a lot easier. The pruning, the harvesting, the fertilizing, the spraying, just makes everything so much easier. Let me grab something right here real quick. We've got a cabbage that's ready. Here's a Melissa Savoy cabbage. And I got a bunch of these in the spring, and this one's a little smaller than the one in the spring, but it's still cool and fun to be able to harvest stuff, you know, mid-November. Not the biggest cabbage, but an absolutely beautiful one, and it's gonna provide some delicious, delicious food for us. We've also got some broccolis that are almost ready, right over here too, heading up for us. And you'll notice that next to us here, we have the rosemary growing. I always love growing companions to my brassicas, and the rosemary is an excellent companion for it. It also grows so well through the winter. And then we've got to have the kale in the background. So I've got a number of different kinds of kale because I love the beauty, the taste, and I just love different varieties of things. So let me bring you over to some of these apple trees real quick, like this apple tree right here. So this thing's gonna remain relatively small, and through the winter, all I really have to do is just do a little pruning on it. And I'm gonna have a lot of pruning to do between all my trees, but I love pruning the trees. To me, it's one of the most enjoyable experiences because we get to come out here when it's like, you know, cold and everything looks desolate and the tree almost looks dead. But then you get to come out, and a tree like this where it's like kind of overgrown a little bit, getting a little messy, you can come back, reset it to order, space everything out nice, and it's just a great feeling to be able to give the tree, you know, almost like a new start. So we're gonna be doing a lot of pruning, and I just love pruning. Maybe we'll bring you along for some of that. Let me know if you want to see it. I want to bring you over to something else as well. Look at these strawberries. So I went with a new technique this year of maintaining my strawberries, and it looks like it's worked incredibly. So I haven't shared that with you yet, but I have documented it. So come next spring, if we have the harvest that I think we're going to be setting up for, because the strawberries have looked the best they ever have, then I'm going to share with you some of the new kind of secret or special techniques that I've come up with that have just blown me away with the amount of strawberries here. There's one thing I want to talk about though, when it comes to fruit trees and strawberries and all that stuff. I went to order some new fruit trees this year, and I went to go get them, and I was like, oh, what? The fruit trees are 3 times as much as they used to be. I used to get fruit trees for like $15 or so. Now they're like 45 or 50 bucks. So at first I was like, oh my gosh, that costs a lot. But then I thought back of a lesson that I had learned in the past, and it's this idea of balancing cost and worth. So a fruit tree, an apple tree, a bare root, disease-resistant, Honeycrisp apple, dwarf, that's gonna produce fruit for 25 years, yeah, that gives me a little bit different perspective now. $50 doesn't seem that expensive because that's just the cost. How much that fruit tree is worth, you know, you can't even put a number on it. 20 years of apple production. So that kind of helped me reassess things and realize that I really got to think more about worth than opposed to just cost. And you know, get something like that, because a fruit tree, we put it in one time, an apple tree, it's going to continually paying out dividends forever almost. So it's a beautiful picture, and it helped me realize I need to get some more fruit trees. I need to put those investments in because they always come back. You don't get one apple from one apple tree. You get countless apples. It looks like Tuck is a little busy on this cabbage right here, going for some snacks. He's trying to get it on film. This guy's so hilarious. He's been doing this in the back with us for, you know, 10 or 12 years or so. I still forget sometimes that he's not a pup. To me, he's still that little pup, but he's actually going to be 12 years old this spring. He doesn't act like it, but you know, he's getting up there in age. So we just wanted to thank everybody for always just being so kind in your comments to Tuck. Like, I appreciate that so much, because he doesn't know how much he means to me, and maybe even to you guys. Like, this guy, without him, I wouldn't be where I am now, and he's helped me more than I could ever express to him or even tell you guys. So he's done more than you guys will ever know. So to see how much you guys love him and the kindness you share with him means a lot to both of us. But let's keep running and keep this guy out of our stuff. Come on, boy. Before I let you go, I want to show you a few more things. This birdie's raised bed is doing great as well, and I just put the cover on this one. We've got some lettuces and stuff in here that we're snacking on. Some arrowhead lettuce, absolutely beautiful. And I've got one of my cold hardiest plants in the back here. This is the Claytonia. This thing grows so well through the winter because since the leaves are small, they can grow quick, and it's delicious. It's also called miner's lettuce, a really nice one to have. Still got some more cabbages in here, some tatsoi. So we're snacking from here. We'll be getting stuff from this all winter long, which is always a blessing. And one thing I love about this kind of gardening, and perennials too, is that, like, perennials, you can't just be happy with the harvest that you got from this year. You have to be investing for next year. It's not just about this year. It's about this year, next year, and every other year after it. So it's like the decisions and investments that you make today are definitely going to affect your harvest in the next couple of years. That's why perennials are so much fun. That's today's video, growers. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. It ended up being a beautiful day out. So me and Tuck are real thankful for that. We had a lot of fun making the video. We hope you guys enjoyed it. And here's one of the new shirts. I think it looks awesome, a Team Grow shirt. I think it kind of like encapsulates what I was looking for, so I do like it a lot. But before I let you go, I want you guys to think about something and to stay encouraged, because if it was your first year gardening and things didn't go that great, or even if it was like not your first year and just things didn't go that great in general, if you didn't have big harvests, I want you to kind of reassess how you think about that, because not every harvest can be weighed. Sometimes our greatest harvest is knowledge and experience, especially when it comes to gardening, because we can build off those, invest those in next year, and then the future harvest will be even bigger, and then soon we'll just be surrounded by a forest with fruit and just enjoying it. So if you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share with your friends. Don't forget to check out that merch at jamesprigioni.com. We got the boss around here somewhere, just enjoying the day. We had a great time, and we hope you guys did as well. Again, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, share with your friends. Tuck and James, well, Big Tuck, the boss, the leader, and his apprentice James will be back again real soon. We